Hello, Phoenix Pirates. Today we bring you the builds that you voted on, which is the Aegis, then the Rhino, and a little something extra. Now, starting with the Rhinos, we're going to start with this one here. This is going to be, quite frankly, one for all you fellas who don't have the new spiffy tech that some of the bigger guys got. Now, some of this is easily obtained. The L missiles, the specials, everything is researchable or acquirable through campaigns or via salvages. And this is about as good a setup you're going to get using tech that you can find. Now, as far as the Z missile, it's out in the recently added campaign, but in the event that you're not able to do that, you can always use the Zentonite Missile V, which is a tech you can acquire from collecting blueprints from cargoes. Now, this new Rhino, like I said, it's going to be unprecedented. It's got 15 weapon slots. It's the first boat that's not a super hull, as in the Proto Nem or the Hellstar that has 5 special slots. So it's going to make this boat very versatile, even though it's built for missiles. Now, this is something you'd build if you were lacking tech. Now, our next step up is right here. This is for you guys who maybe got the new hull, maybe got the new missiles, but don't quite have the armors that everyone else does or the specials. This will equally do good work and Forsaken missions. It'll do nice in prep work. You got a range of 98, basically almost 99. And it's going to put off a lot of damage quick with a fleet damage of 316 and a building damage of 632. Now, that's going to hurt a lot. But we take a second here and look at it. Your missile DPS, which is your damage per second, is going to be 2,048. That's pretty damn high. Now, for you guys in upper class, asking for a Forsaken mission build. Well, I run a similar setup. Now, if you're going to be running through 85s, I would probably recommend Siege Battery 3. And definitely the reflective coating. That's going to be a must. Gotta love those Wendigos. However, depending upon your own preference or taste, you can definitely use Siege Bat 1 or Siege Bat 2. Whatever you have will work, one or the other. As far as this, the guided missile system, this is a new special just released in, I do believe, the elite tier of the Forsaken mission. Now, this is a great special because it is essentially solid fuel booster 3, laser 3 combined into one, and for less weight than both. And that saves the special slot. Now, as long as you run away from everything, keep it just outside your range, this should pretty much be able to take any and all targets down. Well, the entire fleet, probably not a single boat. uh, Now, moving on to the Aegis. I know that some requested a build that can be switched in between any fleet. Here is the issue with that. When it comes to having a boat that you switch in between, that you can switch in between any fleet, there's a few things to understand. When it comes to making your fleet, you want your combat speeds the same, exactly the same if possible, if not close. Otherwise, you're either going to be pulling ahead of your other boats or you're going to be dragging behind. And that's not good in any scenario because that can cause you to get taken out by rockets easy. mortars. I mean, it can cause a lot of trouble. Now, as far as a top of the line Aegis build, and this is really built to go with the Forsaken Mission Rhino. Now, you might ask, why the speed system 5 on it and the speed system 3 on the Rhino? Well, simple answer is to try to match combat speeds closely. 25.60, you got 25.22. Now, it's about as close as you're going to get it matched without making one or the other slower or faster than one or the other. Now, with the Aegis in play, it's essentially acting as a Frostburn, with the drawback that it does not slow down enemies like the Frostburn does. But that's where, for you higher and bigger guys, this new missile that it was just released in the Forsaken Mission comes into play. It gives you a slow effect. Uh, Basically the same manner that the Disrupt Cannon gives for ballistic holes. So that's where your slowdown is going to come from. Like I said, you can alter this build as needed. Some people might like a little less missiles, might like a little more anti. Uh, as you noticed on the Aegis here, we got a couple anti on there. Had to throw cryo depth charges on there. You can use blaze throwers to pull the speed up to what the Rhino is. Now, the thing about the Aegis is it's definitely got bonuses for anti-missile and anti-mortar. Now you'll find the reason that you don't see usually a lot of anti-mortar on my builds or builds that I suggest is usually because it's pointless. Unless you are intending to set somewhere, which you shouldn't be, and take a buttload of mortar fire, that shouldn't be a worry. You should be outrunning them. Now, like I said, that's where your debuffs can come in for that. And given the 98.8 range, you can cover prep work for bases too. If you want to snipe a turret or two, maybe you come across a dumbass who has a snipeable OP. Go after it. But these are some interesting builds. I said this one is right here. This is for you little guys, because I know some little guys got the new bow, maybe didn't get the new missile, but got research tech only. This is for those lacking in armor. You can run it with different armors, just depending upon what your needs require. Now we're gonna skip on over here to Frostburn and v2s. Now, your Frostburn overall, its best quality is, frankly, is it's got 90 thermal, which is gonna pick up any sub before it gets to you, aside from a Reaper with delusions, because that's a range of 100, so it would be able to stay out of your line of sight, basically. But you could probably set it up where it could spot said Reapers. Now, this is for the V2H. Now, on the V2H, you want to kind of stick more along the lines of missiles. It's definitely better equipped for missiles. It comes with built-in retargeting. Uh, and when it comes to the V2s, they are versatile holes. You can really, there's a lot you can do. You can make I like to call it an average speed boat that is very effective, like this. Or you can speed them up a little bit at the cost of some resistances or some armor rating. It's completely up to personal preference. Then you have the V2C. Now, this here was just one tossed together for those who might be tech limited. I'm sure any of you bigger guys who have the tech, you'll know the best way to suit it up to your desires. But this is just an example of a faster setup at 30 combat speed. You know, you can move around faster, deal with boats easier that move fast, such as Reaver Scouts. And Another one here that we want to show you is some of you requested anti-sub interceptors. This will function on the V2H, it'll function on the V2C. Now, this one in specific right here, once again, those of you who might be a little tech limited as far as your specials, mainly because the regular setup, which is this way, with the speed upgrades and the speed system, which actually now could probably be made faster due to speed system 5. A little bit faster. This build here, and even this one, they will put down subs quick. Yes, subs outrange their imaging, their thermal imaging. But with this here, you are going to be so fast that once you pick them up, once they start firing those torps, they're going to be done for because they're going to rebuild their location, and you're going to catch them just like that. You just instantly, you can get right on top of them. This is definitely the way to go. Now, another way you can go is you can set it up kind of like this on a V2H anyways, and you can change out a speed upgrade, and then you can maybe use the new missiles here. Just as an example, you could also use siege missiles. You could use strike missiles or assault missiles. It doesn't really matter. I mean, preferably you'd want to go with at least one siege or one of these new missiles to put them down quicker. Strike missiles won't put them down quite as quick, but they will still put them down. I see set up like that would do equally as well. You know, because I know some people don't have the cryo depth charges. Obviously, if you have the frostburn lead, you're going to be able to do it a lot better because you're going to have that 90 range that they're going to have to come in range to grab any of your boats anyways. But you still maintain a good combat speed like this, and odds are you are going to catch your target. But there you have it. There's your builds for this week. If you have any more boats for next week that you'd like to see or like to have some ideas about, then be sure to leave comments on the fleet page or request, and we'll see if we can't do them for you. Have a good one, Phoenix Pirates.